Joe Elvis, some old guy with a Texas drawl on the phone wants to talk with you. Remarkably sounds just like Clyde Ertle, the very same who tried to rope us in for big money to get us on the Ed Sullivan show. Weren't that funny? Ed Sullivan ain't even been on TV for years.
Let me take her version. Hello? Hello? Ha. That really you, Clyde, old friend? I was really surprised to hear from you.
Sure are me, Joe Elvis. Say, I was truly at a loss why you boys never called me about getting on TV. Must be 4, 5, maybe 6 months, and I never heard from you boys.
Well, you know, Clyde, we done talked it over, but decided we as yet weren't quite ready for no big time. We got us plenty of rehearsing to do us. Besides, our sound equipment is not still the best as yet.
Why, boy, why you worry on sound equipment? Them fellas who run TV, they roll out the red carpet for performers. They will done supply you with all the equipment you would ever want you. Anyways, if you boys would want to reconsider getting on Mr. Sullivan's big wing ding, I could still swing it for you at a much discounted rate.
Sure, Clyde, we'll kick that around, promise you.
But that is not the true reason I done calling you, boy. See, Joe Elvis, happens to be I is presently in jail. Shoot.
You don't means to tell me, Clyde. What a blamed injustice. How come some dang cops done this to a law-abiding citizen like you?
Yeah, I knows. Some crazy to-do mix-up. I got to explains to you, Joe Elvis. The darndest thing can come down to a truly innocent man's head out of the blue at the moment he hardly looked for it. I were just ready to put together one of the biggest deal ever in showbiz, and now everything's are unraveling on me.
What done happen anyway, Clyde?
Well, boy, see, I writes me a check covering my hotel bill here in Lexington. Well, golly, can't say how's a fella like me who are a stickler, you knows, on every little old detail, don't know how this could occur. But I plumb forget I done closed that checking account a few months back. Now the sheriff here in Sawtooth County are shouting in my face that to write a check on a closed bank account is purely illegal. Well, it is a mix-up, I admits. But he yelling all over this caboose that are a felony. Clear and simple.
Well, dang it, Clyde, that are an outrage anyhow you sees it.
The doggone worst part of it is that my court case won't come up for at least 3 weeks. They is really waterlogged here in Sawtooth. Now this judge here who got rattlesnake eyes, if you ever seen him, he pounded his wood hammer telling poor Clyde it will cost a cool $100 bail money to spring the trap here for me. Say, Joe Elvis, old buddy, you thinks you or one of the boys could get over here from Louisville? It's no more than 20 miles after all. I noticed especially you, boy, is pretty clever with words. Maybe you can speak some sense to the law around here. Would be a favor I plumb won't let pass, Joe Elvis.
Well, golly, Clyde, we all swamped here, but sure, I guess I could buzz over there. However, only if my auto is running decent. She been giving me fits lately, but sure, I will make it there.
You crazy Joe Elvis. You lost your cotton-picking mind. You for sure driving you all the way over to Lexington?
Well, sure, Verge, you only want to talk it over. The man is in the slammer caused by a mix-up with bad check writing. Shoot, least a guy can do in such a pinch is to lend a helping hand.
Hot dang it, J.E. Thought I heard on the phone Clyde said something about $100 bail money. Don't you sees? He ain't fetching you for no just talk. He's looking for us boys to stake him for 100 smackaroos so's he can get his sorry butt out of the cooler. You're a darn fool, Joe Elvis.
Man, oh man, I suppose you's correct on that, Verge, but ain't you ever been behind the 8 ball where you's just hanging by a thread? Sorry to say, but I got to give Clyde a helping hand.
Heaven to Betsy, boy. I was relieved you had done made it over here so rapidly. Tell you, and I don't hesitate, I is about to go stir crazy. Might as well be on death row, sees?
And nice to see you, Clyde, even under adverse situation. Say, you is looking like hell.
I can certainly understand that. Ain't eaten much in 3 days pondering my dilemma. I can stand bologna sandwiches only for so many vittlins. Say, honey, don't mean to sound impolite, but do you have to hears everything we is muddling over here?
First of all, you jailbird sucker, such affectionate terms as any honey or dollar sweetheart ain't allowed in this here institution. Want to get yourself in a stir? And second, for your illumination, the regulation in the joint is all such claptrap as between you and your friend here strictly has to be monitored with every scrutiny so no funny business eventuates, sees?
Man, Joe Elvis, look what an honest citizen get to deal with here. Well, darned it to Timbuktu. Boy, the worst thing about all this is I got me a number of bank accounts, stocks and bonds and such, some with thousands of bucks talking to them. I could bail me out of here most 1,000,000 times over, except in that she-devil wife of mine. She got all my assets done froze up with an iron blanket, along with that fast-talking lawyer of hers. They got me out in the cold, boy. Under such circumstances, no way I even raise a lousy $100 bailout cash.
Well, calm down, Clyde. Take it easy. I brought along the $100 you mentioned on the phone, so you is all but in the clear, sees?
Lordy lad, I got to be greatly beholden you for your kindness 1,000 times over. Shows you how a man of substance can get into a pickle in these parts. Well, I've been thinking I can repay you in one of 2 ways. We can look at the bail money you putting up front as sort of just a loan, which you knows for sure you can count on me to come cross. Or we could see it as a fee for me to get you boys a screen test for over there in Hollywood. Shoot, I counts as my friends a number of real sparky theater agents out in them parts over there in Tinseltown. So for the sum of 100 balloons, I sure enough can arrange you a screen test that, with your talent among you boys, will sure enough pop you stardom, just for you springing old Clyde out of this here hoosgow.
Well, sure enough, Clyde. We will see what happens, okay?
Well, Joe Elvis, I still says you were plumb loco to take $100 out of our kitty for covering bail money on that practically some swindler Clyde. Jiminy, J.E., he are an out-and-out crook if you ever met one.
Well, who can argue, Verge? Sometime I too easy a touch like my long-deceased pa. I knows Ma would have never let go of 100.
Sure as we rappin'. And all the boys, including Jimbo, are also miffed with you. They're like 20 hard-earned bucks out of each of our wallets.
Who could that be, Verge?
Hardly could guess. I'll see. What can we do for you, sir?
Oh yes, I mean cold and lonely rain. Everywhere I look.
Don't not worry yourselves, boys. How to lend me a hand. I has come to help you exactly. Name is Bixby Moss. Clyde called me up and done commissioned me with this little magic wand I got me to take that there screen test he promised. Boys, you has now got yourself in second heaven, no question about it. Absolutely. You got it made. I know you don't realize it as yet, but shoot, I is under contract with as much as 5 major movie picture studios in Hollywood to take that there screen test. Absolutely. Hell, I got me a real bona fide talent to hand over to them boys. They fight like coon dogs to be first in line. You boys ever heard of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer? That MGM? In case you boys don't knows as much. Hell, got me a couple of dudes in my pocket over at MGM. You knows their main star in the golden age of film. Ever heard of Clark Gable? Shoot, Gable were closer to my old man back in them days as 2 pups on a tip. My pappy teach Gable fly casting over the Tennessee River, so we is talking real up close and personal. So you breathe easy. All is on your way up the ladder of the entertainment world, just as he promised. Clyde gonna see to it that your screen test going right to the big time. Say fellas, where you got your next playing show? Gonna be out there to get it all pictured up in living color. And it is your lucky day, boys. Gonna cost you no more than an added on fee of only 100 additional greenbacks. Ain't that reasonable for my time?
Wait you a little minute, guy. Clyde done promised Joe Elvis here that he would arrange us a screen test covered entirely by the $100 bail money my buddy done come across with at the jailhouse. He no way mentioned no $100 cash come across on top of that. No way. We got to talk to Clyde about that.
Okay, don't get in a ditter, fellas. Tell you what, even though my time is money, as a favor to Clyde, he done me some precious favors. So I will throw in this here priceless screen test for free of charge, but only this time.
Well, that sound more like it, Mr. Moss. Boy, Joe Elvis, I surely owes you a bushel full of sincere apologies. Seems that Clyde come through after all. We is on our way, boy.
Yee-o, Verge. Guy never know when a little kindness on his part can really pay off. You know, some might think old Clyde a little shady. Then out of the blue, against all odds, he come through for you when you originally thought it were all a crock. For a lousy $100, he gets you an actual screen test for Hollywood, which I would call a real bargain basement bargain at that.
Say, boys, that dude who was just leaving here, you know, with that camera on his shoulder, what do he want anyhow? I hope you are real careful and don't put any cash in his mint on some pretext. That there was Clyde Earl's younger brother. Huh. And it's claimed that, at least down in Texas, that he are a much bigger crook than even Clyde. Huh. I met him a few times when we were going with the gal around where I grew up. That before he served a short stretch in jail for bouncing checks.
Well, now, Will, that really busts our bubble.
Bottom boots, Joe Elvis. Didn't I tells you handing over 100, I say $100 to that Clyde could only ends us in lost column?
I knows you were correct on that, Verge. Tell you what, I will personally cover the money for the rest of you. It were my doing all the way. But you know, in a fashion, I ain't totally sorry. Look, Clyde is getting pretty old. And when I seen him so pitiful, gosh, he didn't look so well. Could be he is ill and on his last legs. So what the hell? See it this way. I gave him at least a few moments of happiness. Or I tried at least. You know, getting sucked in at what Clyde do best, which is common folk. So who knows? He might soon die believing he pulled the wool over my eyes. Shoot, it was only $100 mere. Other hand, who could be sure? Might be Clyde really do have a big wad of cash saved up, just as he claims. And recalling my helping him, he could leave me a nice piece of change in his last will and testament. Just for a guy he liked. And in his crazy way, I think he do take a shine to me, if I must say it.
Fat chance he gonna leave you any such money, Joe Ellis. Heck, I bets he are on his last legs, financially.
Well, still, who could swear to it, Verge? After all, who expected Jesus to step on earth? So all I is saying is if Clyde do leave me a modest bundle, I will split it with my bosom buddies.